Member of the Institute of Economic Affairs Advisory Committee, Emil Short, the committee discussing the winner-takes-all system has described a report by the General Telegraph as inaccurate. The newspaper had reported the committee is recommending an increase in parliamentary seats from 275 to 400. Now, Short insists that that report is inaccurate and it was only an individual's proposal and not the whole committee's recommendation. I spoke with him earlier on News Desk. Right, and so then we are advising that the number of parliamentary seats from 275 to 400, so we can have more hands aboard. How will this help?
Let me make it very clear that this is not a proposal by the advisory committee. It is not a recommendation by the advisory committee. It was one of the proposals that we received in the course of our consultation. We are in the process of finalizing our consultations, and within a week or two, we are going to prepare a report which will contain all the recommendations made by the various stakeholders that we have consulted with. And some of the recommendations or proposals gained widespread consensus. Others were just individual proposals. The recommendation to increase parliamentary seats from 275 to 400 was just one of the proposals, and it hasn't received the blessing of the advisory committee as of yet. In fact, we haven't compiled our report as yet, so I think it must be made very clear. That proposal was informed by the need to, make provision for, technocrats to be part, people, for example, who do not want to engage in campaign to go to parliament, but they want to put their knowledge and expertise at the disposal of parliament, and also to make provision for marginalized groups like, women and the disabled and, other marginalized groups. So the proposal was that you should maintain the 275 seats, but in order to make provision for these other groups that would bring some expertise and add value to parliamentary deliberations, then the number of seats could be increased, to 400. Of course, there is the question of the cost implications involved.
Absolutely.
And and this problem was drawn attention to. We drew attention, of the person who made this proposal to the cost implications, but the person responded to say that, well, democracy is expensive, and sometimes if you want to achieve greater results, then you have to spend extra money. So this is just a proposal, and it hasn't received the blessing of the
advisory committee yet. No, in other words, the General Telegraph may have got this wrong.
Yes, I think so.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security disagrees with the committee on increasing the number of parliamentarians from 275 to 400.
Thank you.
It's a shame that at this point, when we are throwing more light on this wild-spreading cholera period, we have someone throwing fecal matter into drinks. Tell us about this.
Yes, we had information that a commercial toilet operator at Osu was discharging, toilets direct into the public drains. So
And so now we apologize for earlier. Let's move on with the news now. Go back to our earlier story on cholera. Now, the Accra Metro Health team arrests company for dumping fecal matter as cholera epidemic continues to take toll on the metropolis. I spoke with the Accra Metro Public Health Service Director, Dr. Samson Boateng. How it choked, well, not necessarily choked, but it was a filthy drain, and still people stood by to buy food around such a drain when a lot of education is ongoing on the fact that there is a terrible outbreak of cholera in the Greater Accra region, especially in the Accra metropolis, which has recorded over 600 cases and 8 deaths. I'm going to try again, see if I have Dr. Boateng over the telephone. Hello, Dr. Boateng. Well, I do not have Dr. Boateng, but today on the program, while we wait on Dr. Boateng to pick up his call again, today on the program, we will also cross over to the Kotoka International Airport, where we understand government has activated its plan to protect the country from contracting its first case of Ebola. Dr. Simpson Boateng is back over the telephone. Doc, you were telling us how this company was picked up.
Yes, we had information that somebody was, a commercial toilet operator was discharging toilet directly to the public drains. So we went there, a team went there, and when we went there, we saw that he had discharged raw feces into the drains. And what I wanted to say is that that particular area is an area which has recorded the highest number of cholera cases, this period. We thought we had to arrest him, and we did arrest him, put him behind the bars just at night. And right now, as I speak with you, we are in the court.
So this person was arrested in the act?
Pardon?
This person was arrested in the act?
Yes, we saw him in the act.
So I see. Which company is that?
Well, I think they call it Sharon Company. It is a toilet near the castle. It is just a few, I think, a house or two away from the Anglican Church at Osu.
I see. And it was discharging the fecal matter in which area?
In that public drain just behind the castle. And in fact, you could not stand the odor there. The whole place, all the residents there are complaining very bitterly. And as I indicated, that place has recorded the highest number of cholera, patients this time around.
I see. So now we are in court with this Shalom company. What does the future look like?
Well, in fact, it will depend upon the outcome of the court hearing. If a deterrent sentence is slapped on him, then I think it will deter other people from going his way. So we are hoping that the court will do something very serious so that it will serve as a deterrent to others.
Tell us why it is important people are careful how they dispose of fecal matter.
You see, there is a strong association between tourists and the cholera. What we have realized over the years is that when the cholera strikes, those areas where people manage their toilets very badly, especially areas where there are no toilets in the homes, these are the areas where we have the highest number of people suffering from the disease. So it is very important that people manage their toilets very, very hygienically. That is why we are advising that every landlord should provide toilets in his or her house so that the residents will use that toilet instead of, defecating openly, into the drains. So it is very important that residents do about that.
Doc, my concern is that a lot of education is going on, no denying, but we keep recording more cases day after day. What do you think is wrong this time around?
Yes, we are thinking that this time around, as you are, those areas which always record the high cases are against it. Because the education, even though the education is going on very well, I think it is not penetrating well enough in those areas. So we have to focus, we have to intensify the education there. And that's exactly what we are doing now.
The Minister of Health on Thursday announced at a briefing that Ghana's only international airport, the Kotoka Airport, has a screening center for Ebola, has no screening center for Ebola. Dr. Ajima Mensah announced that screening centers have been established at all entry points into the country. According to the health minister, the disease surveillance system in Ghana has been placed on high alert through intensification of viral hemorrhagic fever surveillance. And let's cross over now to the Kotoka International Airport, where my colleague Kwabena Hene is on standby. Hello, Kwabena.
Hello, Kemini.
Tell us what you've observed at the airport.
Well, Kemini, our mission here at the Kotoka International Airport today was to find out whether indeed workers right here at the airport were putting on protective clothing and including gloves and nose masks, as we were told yesterday by the acting managing director. And we got here quite early, but we are told authorities are in a crunch meeting on this particular issue. So we are told. So we are still waiting for them so that we could actually have a real tour of the place and find out a few things. But our checks, we've actually visited a few of the sites right here, including the arrival hall and the departure halls, and we've seen a few people, some workers. In fact, I must say all the workers here are in protective clothing. Some with nose masks, others with gloves, and some other clothing as well. What authorities here have done now is that they've actually printed out leaflets with the health alert leaflets on Ebola. It talks about key facts about the Ebola disease, the virus's transmission, and preventive measures also, and they are actually circulating them right here at the airport. One gentleman we spoke to, myself and Adelaide, one gentleman we spoke to here at the airport tells us that what they are doing is to protect themselves. Workers here, they are trying as much as possible to protect themselves, since they are the first people who come into contact with some of these passengers who walk into the country from whichever country they may be coming from. So these measures are to actually protect them, and actually they've actually provided specialized bins where they are going to take, anytime they offload their protective clothing, those clothing are put into those specialized bins, and they are subsequently tested to see whether there will be traces of any Ebola thing in there.
I see. And so describe to us this protective gear you've observed on the airport workers.
Yeah, basically, some are in shirts, not really shirts. It's a bit. It looks like a shirt though, and, but most of them are just in nose masks, and they are wearing gloves that they say are changed every 2 hours or so. That's what they tell us. But we are still waiting for authorities so that they could actually give us a word or two on this particular one. And as I mentioned earlier, we are told they are in the crunch meeting on this subject. So we are still waiting. Once there's any more updates, we'll get through to you.
Are you able to tell which workers at the airport have been given the protective gear?
I'm told all the workers. So that's what I've been told. But what I've seen so far has to do with those who usually operate the trolleys, and those. In fact, those who are the first port of call once you enter the airport. Those are the ones we have seen with the protective clothing. But we are told everyone is supposed to be in one. But for the cleaners around and for the senior staff, I haven't seen them in such clothing. I must say.
Thank you very much, Kwabena, for that report. Kwabena Hene Boateng, that's my colleague at the Kotoka International Airport. In subsequent broadcasts, we'll bring you more on that particular matter. Now, let's go back to our earlier story where Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, David Agbe, is against proposals that the number of parliamentary seats should be increased from 275 to 400.
Governance perspective, I want to say that this proposal is going to face a serious challenges and a serious difficulty as to how best we'll be able to implement this proposal. In a sense that if you are developing a governance proposal, you need to actually, be extra careful in terms of making sure that you do a very thorough comparative analysis. In respect of we having 275 parliamentarians now, increasing it to 400, it's very much difficult in a sense that if you are doing a policy analysis, you need to do a comparative analysis as well. Here we are that this country has a population close to 25 million. Only 25 million.
If you looked at our sub-region, the most densely populated country is Nigeria. They have a population close to 173 million people. If you go to Kenya, Kenya has a population close to 45 million people. And Ghana, we have population of 25 million. So when you even go to Europe and other countries, UK, Canada, and other countries, you realize that our policy will not be able to actually suit our population. And it was good that Mr. Short also made mention of the budget constraints as to how sustainable this proposal could become. In generality, I think that it's going to be serious challenges that they are going to face. So I will kindly suggest to them that they need to drop it somewhere and reconsider.
Business is next. While in business, the Ghana Airports Company says it is set to raise $600 million to help improve infrastructure in airports across the country. Acting Managing Director Charles Asare disclosed this at this year's annual general meeting.
According to the Ghana Airports Company Limited, all is set to begin the process of improving infrastructure in airports in the country. An expected amount of $600 million will be raised for this purpose.
We intend to pursue appropriate strategies to, 1, increase capacity and improve the operating efficiencies of our existing airports at KIA, Kumasi, Tamale, and Sunyani by upgrading and expanding the airport infrastructure and service facilities, and also develop new regional aerodromes. Over the next 3 years, we project to invest over $600 million to enhance and expand our airport infrastructure and services.
Ghana Airports Company Limited recorded a profit of 19.1 million Ghana cedis in 2013 as against the previous year's losses of 84.2 million Ghana cedis. This was disclosed by Acting Managing Director of Charles Asare at the second annual general meeting. For Joy News, Kwabna Chenchehini Boating.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa, has hinted his outfit will further review the central bank's forex measures announced earlier. Speaking to journalists on the side of the Presidential Advisory Committee's meeting, Dr. Wampa cautioned against predictions of further fall of the cedi because, according to him, that is about to change.
The Bank of Ghana earlier announced stringent rules on foreign currency transactions to stop the free fall of the cedi. The review, among others, limited transactions in foreign currency to $10,000, withdrawal per travel, with travel documentation. But that was reviewed. The new directive permitted foreign currency account holders to withdraw up to $10,000 without prior proof of travel documentation. That is to be reviewed again.
We are also looking at further revising the foreign exchange measures that were instituted earlier this year. As I said at the last revision, we said we'll continue to monitor the situation, and if the need arises, we would institute additional revisions. We're going to do that. Hopefully next week we'll be doing additional revisions to that, all aimed at addressing some of the challenges we've been facing during the period.
He indicated the cedi's fall is about to end.
We've had very fruitful discussions this morning, and we have addressed issues bordering on all aspects of the economy. Of course, the foreign exchange issues were also discussed because that is a major challenge confronting us. Let me assure you that those that continue to bet on the cedi falling further or are speculating against the cedi, they should be careful because we are taking measures that would stabilize the cedi within this period.
Gitiandapia, Joy News, Pediasi Lodge.
Samuel Ampa is head of research at the Gold Coast Fund Management. Let's talk about the depreciating cedi. over the next few minutes. You're welcome to the program, Samuel.
Yes, hi.
So now we're being told the fact that we're betting against the city, the fact that we're predicting doom for the city, that's why it keeps falling. But that is about to change because the measures are working and we'll see some real change. What are your thoughts into that?
Unfortunately, I am not hearing your question. Sorry, can you repeat it again?
I'm saying that we have been told it's because Ghanaians are betting against the city. It's because Ghanaians are spelling doom for the city. That's why it keeps falling. But that is about to change, and we must stop because according to the governor of the Bank of Ghana, the measures they have put in place are working, and we'll see some real results soon. Your thoughts into that?
Well, indeed, in every economy, we have speculators in that economy. You know that it's a big business for speculators when they see the volatility of the currency, happening. So therefore, the business of speculators will definitely be around. The statement that the Governor Bank of Ghana gave is very heartwarming. It gives a level of confidence, or perhaps it brings back the confidence that Ghanaians, most importantly, a business community is expecting to have in relation to the currency. We have noticed that the city has been stable for a couple of weeks. However, what we are expecting is the appreciation of the currency against the major currencies, the dollar, the pound, euro, but that's not happening. It's only stable against the dollar, but with the pound sterling and then the other currencies, it's been depreciating at a very faster rate. So, well, that the issue to do with speculators, I guess maybe they will take the statement by the Governor Bank of Ghana with a pinch of salt. But for business communities, I think they want to see more, as in the appreciation of the currency, the local currency against the dollar and then the other currency.
But just before we move on, what economic reason can be given to that? The fact that speculations are going on, or that is why the CD continues to fall. Does it make economic sense? Well,
in every economy, like I said earlier on, these people are there to make money. They see the advantage and they take advantage, or they see the opportunity and they take advantage in that. So speculation is something that happens. What it means is that our monetary policy regulation should be tightened, not to allow them to manipulate the market. What they are doing currently is to manipulate the market. If you go to the forex bureaus, for example, you can see the difference that the interbank rate is about 3 cities, 10 pesos thereabout. But you go into the market currently, you have the speculators speculating the rates in a higher exchange rate. That is what they do because they know that definitely the demand is high and the supply is not available. So they make margins out of that. This is something that really happens. And what we need to do as a country is that the Governor Bank of Ghana should be tighter on monetary policy to not to give them the leverage that they want in the market.
Recently, we had that the Bank of Ghana had to reverse the decision not to allow the importation of dollars. And how will that help the situation as it is now?
For me, I think it's a wonderful news that came up because I have always been asking that, or been demanding that we do the euro-dollar deposit. The euro-dollar deposit basically is the importation of dollar. You allow foreigners to open accounts in your country and deposit some foreign exchange into your bank. Then that's where they use mostly our banks to do the deposit. That brings in a lot of foreign exchange, and that is exactly what the Bank of Ghana seems to do. The regulation that was introduced in about 2 years ago halted that process, and therefore it stifled the inflow of dollars, foreign exchange into our country, and that affected us badly. So with the new introduction, with the easing of that regulation, I guess it is a good one. It's going to see a lot of forex inflows, and it will help us a lot in terms of stocking up our reserves and helping to stay the value of our local currency.
But from the beginning, the central bank had been told that this was a bad idea. Why would the central bank do this and then later on do a 360 because it didn't work?
of course, it didn't work. I mean, it's clear that their intention was to hold the value of the city, by restricting importation of the currency. But clearly that was not a good policy for the central bank to introduce. I mean, we could see the result. The result had plummeted the city losing so much value against the trading currency. So it was a bad policy. I mean, it's something that they shouldn't have done at all. But realizing their mistakes, they had come back to reverse it, and now we are seeing some positive. I guess it is positive because now you see that the city is stabilizing against the dollar.
For a lot of Ghanaians, that is all we are going to get: a stabilizing cedi against the major trading currency on the world world currency market. Can we hope for an appreciation at any point at all?
We always talk about this. The issue is that the basic fundamentals of which our economy should go on is what lacks. This procedure, this call by the Bank of Ghana, and then the syndication, as in the cocoa money that is coming in, the bond, the euro bond, and then the bond issuance that just came in. It's just to solve the problem in the short term. This is a short-term measure. A lot of us will want to see a medium to long-term approach. And basically, that is where our challenge is. We should know that our currency is not a convertible currency. So therefore, the value, the underlying asset, which is the gold, which is falling on the international market, is definitely going to affect our currency. That is the basic thing we should understand. And then we should also understand that as much as we continue to become an import-led economy, there is nothing we can do. Our city will always or continue to lose some level of value on the market. And that's true. So we should be working at the basic fundamentals of holding the value of the city by attacking the macro, some basic fundamental things that we need to do as an economy. Other than that, we will have stability issues with our currencies.
We'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much. Sami Yampa is Head of Research with the Gold Coast Fund Management. Now, the maiden edition of the SME Awards has been held with Breakfast 7 company Cocoa Cane picking up 4 awards, including the SME Overall Best Awards. Joy Business was awarded for innovation and creativity in business reporting, with this 3-minute news feature, Joy Business Van, winning the Media Reportage Award.
20 awards were presented to deserving businesses on the night. Cocoa Cane surprised many as they picked up 4 awards, including the most prestigious Overall Best Award at the SME Ghana Awards. Operations and Administrative Manager of Cocoa Cane, Martha Opong, after receiving the awards, said much more was to be expected from her company.
We are very happy that what we are doing is being recognized. We started Cocoa Cane 6 years ago, and it's taken us this long for us to get the recognition that we've always hoped for. So we are very happy. We are going to improve on what we are doing. We are going to mechanize the whole process. So just look out for Cocoa Cane. It's going to be different.
Local shoe manufacturing company Horseman Shoes also picked up an award for Brand Discovery of the Year. Other winners included Reroy Cables, who picked up 2 awards on the night, Busak Fund, J&J Plastics, Nalem Clothing, as well as Multimedia Broadcasting's Joy FM, which won the SME Award. Joy Business was awarded for innovation and creativity in business reporting. Sponsors of the program, Union Savings and Loans, expressed satisfaction at the end of the event. Managing Director Philip Utimensa pledged his outfit's willingness to support future events.
Generally, being the first time, we believe it has been largely successful, and we are going to continue doing this. We believe that consistency will help the industry to realize what the standards are and to work harder to get the awards. And this will help them to also be strong in financial management and repaying their loans, which is very key for us. So we'll continue doing this.
He added that his outfit's primary focus was to support SMEs with many more innovative products.
What you should expect from us is continued support for the SME sector. We have over the years introduced innovative products. We introduced the SME Clinic, which is a weekly training session for SMEs in Kumasi and Accra, where we have, built structures to do this. We have also introduced what we call the Omni Banking, which is the kiosk banking combined with mobile banking to help collect deposits and facilitate transactions all over the country. We have also introduced different kinds of products, and we will continue to introduce new products to support Ghana and our clients.
From the Banquet Hall, State House, Kwabna Chenchehine Boating for Joy News.